Well, hello there and welcome to the channel. And as many of you know, I do like to keep an eye on my newsfeed to get inspiration for new videos just for you. And recently we've had a fantastic one come through from the Daily Mail. Well done you. Regarding Monty Don's recommendation of the four vegetables that you should be sowing right now in midwinter. So we are in beginning of January, so sowing vegetables now. You can do if you're Monty Don. I'll explain why, but for you might want to leave it a bit. But this is what we're talking about. I'll get into it, I'll tell you what they are, when he's doing it, when you can do it, and hopefully it all makes sense. And just remember, this isn't an article written by Monty Don, it's written by somebody else. I don't know his name, but I think it was written on the little bit I had up earlier. So you got to take these things with a pinch of salt. Can't speak, too cold. Because the information that Monty Don gives out directly to you is pretty much spot on. But as soon as people start taking his words and writing their own articles, errors creep in. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So the plants we are talking about are broad beans, onion sets, chilies and rocket, the salad rocket. And the seasoned gardeners out there amongst you will say that's probably a wee bit too early, and for most people it will be, and depending on whereabouts in the country you are, because obviously further south spring comes a lot earlier than it does further north. You might be a little confused as to why Monty Don is saying midwinter January. Well, this is because if you have such things as raised borders, cloches, polytunnels, large cold greenhouses, and you can grow all this stuff really early, get it going so you're well prepared for when the spring comes and you get those cropping early. Because one of the key things that you're trying to achieve when you're growing crops outside in the UK is to try and make the most of our growing season, try and get things in early so you can produce more food throughout the year. That's what we're trying to do. So I will go back to this a little bit as we go into it, but what we'll do, we'll just go through one by one those four crops, what you need to do, and it'll all come out in the wash. So let's start off with broad beans. The usual recommended time to sow your broad beans is kind of February, but if you've got dry weather and your soil is workable and maybe got a bit of protection you can put over the top like a cloche, you know, prevent them from getting waterlogged, so growing them in a raised bed, but I mean that would be enormous if you're growing a lot of broad beans, then yes, you can grow these in January. Monty Don is absolutely right, but you know, conditions have to be suitable for it. Recommended varieties, I mean, Aqua Dolce is always the popular one that everybody goes to. Plant them 9 centimetre apart. You can plant them in single or double rows. You're planting them in double rows, you're probably planting approximately 18 inches apart in your double rows. Some people plant them a bit earlier, but you know, whatever your experience and systems that work for you, do those. So broad beans, yes, but if aeroplanes are so noisy, but they're always out on lovely sunny days like this round here. Shut it. That's better. But you can still plant them, even if you can't plant them outside if conditions are too wet and soggy or frozen. Then you can always plant them in modular seed trays and place those either in a cool greenhouse or a cold room in a bright position indoors. So yeah, broad beans mid-January or midwinter January, it's fine. Now, if you are finding the information in this video useful or perhaps just mildly amusing and you'd like to pass it on, then by all means press the like button. It supports this channel immensely and helps us do what we do. Don't forget, you can also click onto the subscription button. Subscription is absolutely free and you can unsubscribe at any time, doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to be notified whenever we publish a new video, then all you need to do is click on that notification bell. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old Boiled Belt has to say. Right, onion sets, it's the same sort of thing really. If conditions allow, if your soil is dry, if it's well drained, then you certainly can put onion sets outside. It is okay. For most people, you probably be looking at February again. Plant them 9 inches apart. But one thing that you could do, you could be growing your onions from seeds at this time of year, and they're quite easy. So to grow your onions from seeds, plant them in modular seed trays, either one per tray. You could put some others in, but then they'll start off a bit slower, they'll be a bit smaller, and you have to tease them apart, and then they need to re-establish root system. So personally, I would put one per module. You put a little bit of heat on, not too much, so you'll be using a heated propagator, run the temperature somewhere between about 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, and they'll be up in like a week or two. But with anything that you're growing under protection, under cover, in a heated propagator, when it comes to being placed outside to be planted in its final position, you're going to need to harden them off beforehand. And to do that, you need to give it, say, a week to 10 days, bringing them out, putting them somewhere where they start off in the shade, and you build up their resistance to the full sun, because it is burning. You know, when you go out on holiday, you get sunburn. Well, plants also get leaf burn. I suppose that's something you could say. So you need to harden them off, do it properly, make sure they're tough enough to survive outside, because guaranteed, if you grow them indoors, when they are soft, put them outside in full sun, they will scorch and they will die. You've wasted your time. So hardening off of seedlings is key in order to get them to grow and establish once they get outside in the spring. Now, chili pepper seeds, this is absolutely fine for everybody, because starting them off now is the perfect time to do it. You will need to start them off under heat, so you'll need to get yourself a heated propagator, plant them in modular seed trays, and place them at a temperature of around 20-25 degrees Celsius. And when these germinate, the key thing going forward from there is you need to put additional light. So you need like a solar lamp or some kind of setup, so you can give additional light that matches the sunlight. So it will be a specific specialist lamp that you can hopefully buy from the garden centre, if not, you'll be able to get it from Amazon or other such places. So easy done. And it's not just your chili pepper seeds, it'll be your bell peppers or all your peppers. Grow them now. That is spot on advice, and completely agree with that, no problem at all. That is for everybody. Get them going early, because it takes so long in order to produce a crop. So now it's perfect. So I agree. Now the last recommendation is rocket, which seems really early. Normally, if you're going to be sowing it outside, then you'd be sowing it out really after the threat of late frost has passed. So if you want to get an early start, then yeah, sow them earlier. So you're looking at probably April time, but you know, we're talking January. So you could do it. You could start them off in seed trays, get them going. You probably don't need too much heat on them. You might be able to get away with putting it on a warm, bright windowsill. Once they have started to grow, if you want to put them outside, then you're going to be putting them probably in a raised bed, so you've got the drainage on it, and you're probably going to need like a cloche cover or a mini sort of tunnel, something like that. So if Monty Don has had great success doing it this early, then I'm not going to disagree. I think it's absolutely fine. But I think for most people, you probably want to sow those rockets late. It is possible that you could pot grow them, large pots, put them somewhere under protection, and then harvest them that way to get an early crop. But is that really proper gardening? Yeah, of course it is. It is all gardening. But do you know what? That's all I have to say on the matter. But if you've got any great tips, any plants that you will be sowing or growing in January, midwinter, then let us know. Put those in the comments. We'd be really interested in hearing from you. Then other people who read the comments will find out too. Before I go, just one more thing from me, another way to support this channel. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description, you can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.